I can see all of you again. I'm here in the Adhisthana Shrine Room. This is an unplanned event. I was hoping to come to you in a few days' time from Adhisthana Shrine Room, but my internet has been pretty unstable all day in the terrace room upstairs. So in a way, it's a delight to be able to be here, but for me, it has been another one of those moments of realizing one cannot control it all. So the upside for all of us is hopefully for you coming here into Adhisthana Shrine Room this evening. And first of all, I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the evenings on our retreat. Which in a way, I was just thinking this afternoon, it's kind of like the Vajrayana element of our retreat. We've got the Satipatthana, which is our kind of Hinayana, Pali Canon aspect, and then we've got the Lojong, which is the Mahayana aspect. But in the evenings, we're going to be entering into the realm of ritual, mantra, and devotion. So I think that just makes for a really integrated retreat experience to have all three yanas present. So why have ritual and devotion? Well, as you all probably know, it frees us up from our habitual mind. It kind of cuts through our normal ways of operating, and it opens us up to our deeper energies, maybe our energies that are more unconscious. And I feel like my energies have been stirred up already in the practices we've done and the what Vidyamala's been introducing us to in the two practices. So it just feels like a really good opportunity to allow those energies to have something to flow towards. As you know, that's the three jewels. And within our kind of just being able to let that devotion flow. So we're entering into the realm of the symbolic, the imaginative, the archetypal. And I was just reading, Vasantra says that the imaginal realm allows for new growth. And that kind of, kind of sense of expansion. So we'll do that through colour, sound, mantra, mudra, exploring seed syllable. And we'll connect with our more expanded dharmic view. So the main way we're going to do that in the evenings is through our theme of the Padma family. So tonight I'm going to give a short introduction to the Padma family. And then, as Vidyamala said earlier, coincidentally, all the team members have taken yidams, and their sadhana practice is from the Padma family. So over the nights, we'll be sharing our relationship, our connection with those yidams and our own personal experience. So Vimokshini will talk about Amitabha. I will talk about Avalokiteshvara, my sadhana practice, and Maitri Devi will talk about green Tara. So I'm really looking forward to hearing those, but also sharing my own experience of my yidam. And so you've just met three members of the Padma family. So each evening we'll just give a short talk, a short introduction to each of those figures. And then we'll chant a mantra. So as you know, mantra on Zoom is not so much of a collective practice. But luckily we've got the Tara Loka community in the Tara cabin. And they're going to be chanting for us. So there's more voices than just one. And we can chant ourselves along with them. And I'd really encourage you to do that if your circumstances allow, to really enter into what mantra offers us, which is kind of like a bypassing of our normal kind of ways of communicating, something that can kind of like drop deeper into the emotions and into the heart. So I'd really encourage you to participate in the mantra if you can. Just really see how that sound, how the sounds kind of resonate with us and what they draw out of us. So that's really the structure of our evenings. And just an opportunity, I find, at the end of a retreat day with lots of input, meditation taking me deeper, getting in contact with the parts of myself maybe I haven't been in contact with. Today has been a little bit more like sense of tiredness, relaxation. I'm not sure which it is, a bit of both. But just taking us kind of like deeper into ourselves. And I really value the opportunity at the end of the day to not just get in touch with that, but as I said earlier, just kind of give that expression in devotion. You may just want to think about gratitude, what you appreciate, and just offer that up to the three jewels or whichever Buddha we're exploring that evening. Okay, so the Padma family. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Padma family. They're one aspect of the 5 Buddha mandala families. We've got Varochana at the center, who's head of the Buddha family. We've got, as you enter the mandala, you've got Akshobhya, who's head of the Vajra family. Ratnasambhava, head of the Ratna or the Jewel family. We've got Amoghasiddhi, head of the Karma family. And Amitabha heads up the Padma family or the Lotus family. And the mandala as a whole, which I'm sure we're all very, very familiar with, expresses the Buddha's awakening from 4 different points of view. So they each represent the qualities of the awakened mind. And I think it just shows us whenever I think of the mandala, it's also kind of like something unfolding, something opening. So we've got a center and things radiating. So it shows us kind of the Buddha's enlightened experience from what you could see as these different doorways into the enlightened mind. So the Padma family is one of those doorways. And you can think of it also as light refracting through a prism. And I think light is a very good kind of metaphor when we think of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, because they're not solid, they're not tangible. They arise out of the blue sky and kind of dissolve back into it. So they've got this quality of shimmering energy, openness and play in that. And when light kind of comes through a crystal and refracts, we see all the different colours that it's made up of. And in a way, the Buddha mandala is like that. So when we come to the Padma family, the emblem of the family is the lotus, which is, the lotus is not only immediately beautiful to me, I'm not quite sure what it evokes for you, but the other thing that it evokes for me is that it's organic, it's natural, and it's a symbol of growth. So these are my associations with the lotus. And I keep doing this hand gesture, which takes me back to Vidyamala's kind of first exercise. We contracted or expanded. This sense of, the lotus has this sense of openness and expansion, unfolding. And within that opening, the possibility for receptivity, which is a really important quality. So we know the lotus has its roots in the mud. It stands in water. It's drawn up by light, warmth, by air. So for me, it has that sense of being really grounded in the elements, not just in the mud, but in all the elements. And the lotus needs all of these conditions, kind of present to be able to fully unfold its petals, its beauty, and its perfume. But I think the main point for me is that the growth and the beauty are natural processes. So this is nothing that we have to manufacture, nothing that we have to put on, nothing that we have to borrow from somewhere else. It's completely part of our being. You know, Bhante talks about the cosmic will to enlightenment, this just innate will to grow, to be drawn towards the best, the good, what is most deeply meaningful to us. So that gives me confidence and hope in this sense of naturalness. And it gives me a challenge as well. It gives me a challenge to drop artifice, to drop a striving that isn't helpful, and to realize that somehow I have to unfold as me, not as somebody else. And so that can be a little bit challenging. I come back over and over again to the Buddha's experience on his awakening. So he talks about it in the Aryajaya Sutta, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. You know, he wonders how he's going to teach the Dharma, and he's not sure that it's really going to be possible. And he has a vision, and as in the vision, he sees beings as like lotuses. And again, it's just kind of, for me, just a beautiful, beautiful vision. And he sees how the lotus grows from the mud. It sees how it grows through the water. And he sees kind of all the lotuses, the red, the white, the blue. He sees them in their uniqueness and in their potential. Some are just budding, some are just, kind of coming out of the surface of the water. Some have grown really tall, and if you've seen lotuses, the stems are really tall and they really kind of come far out of the water to bloom in, it's quite a large flower. And the Buddha saw us, living beings, just like that. He saw us in all our potential. Well, he saw us as potential. And I think that's one of the things about the Dharma I really, really love, that we all have the potential, no matter where we are, or no matter where we think we are. So we can be a small type bud, or we can, be just breaking the surface of the water, or at times maybe we're opening. You know, we all have this potential. And that's good to see in ourselves, and it's good to see in other people as well. But there's something not just visionary, but very profound in that vision for me. So it's something I come back to and reflect on over and over again. And I think one of the reasons for that is, for me, it kind of illustrates the Buddha's compassion. He saw the potential. He didn't turn away. He didn't think, well, he did say, I think this is too hard. But he did not turn away. He turned towards us as living beings and decided to teach the Dharma. And I think that comes out of his deep love for all beings, which was unlimited. And his faith in us, his confidence in beings, that even though we may be very rooted in the mud and we may not grow very tall at times, that is the natural tendency of all beings, if only we can get out of our way to do it. And I was thinking just today about love as a condition for growth. And I'm not going to say more than that, but maybe that's just something you can think about. Love as a condition for growth. I think Vidyamala's been really unfolding that direction for us, and especially the quotes today from Dipama really resonated with me. Kind of made it easier for me to connect. Rather than go back to the Buddha, here's a woman who in our lifetime was able to embody this fullness of this love. So just coming back to the Padma family, we've got Amitabha. He's the head of the Padma family, and I've got him here on the shrine in the beautiful rupa that was made from Bante's vision in the cave of Amitabha, holding the lotus, a little bit different from the usual mudra of meditation. But Amitabha, deep red, his direction is west, the direction of the setting sun. And if you just for a moment remember the last time you saw a setting sun, and just remember the colours of the sky, perhaps the warmth of that. And as I was thinking about this afternoon, my shoulders instantly relaxed. And I took a breath. Oh, lovely, beautiful. So the setting sun is also something that you can look into. We can't look into the midday sun, but the setting sun we can look into. So although the element of this family is fire, it's more the fire of warmth, nourishment, and glow and relaxation. And I think that kind of draws us into relationship. So the realm of this family is the human realm, which holds a little place in my heart because it's the only realm from which we can gain enlightenment. It's got the right balance of pleasure and pain to help us in that. But I was thinking about when I first, 20 years ago, when I first came to the UK, I had a quest. My quest was to find genuine human warmth. That's how I kind of phrased it to myself. And then I went on retreat to Taraloka for the first time, and I met Amitabha. And I felt that I got a sense of a way into that genuine human warmth. Amitabha at that time for me was the red of blood, the red of life, the red of passion. And in a way, that's kind of like the kind of like the point of Amitabha that takes us to the poison that this family needs to transform. And the poison is greed. It's our craving, our desire, our passion, trishna or thirst. So it's in that moment, the grasping and the aversion, grasping for what we like, the things that make me happy, that I want, and pushing away the things that I don't like. So the craving is at the center of all that is me, my sense of self, and it's the very core of wrong view. So something I've also been reflecting on a little bit are the kleshas. So underneath, kind of like this craving, this fundamental wrong view, our fundamental way in which we misinterpret the world, and in that sense causes us suffering. This is self-centeredness, or sometimes called as a klesha, self-cherishing. And Vidyamala's been talking about that quite a lot in terms of wanting to expand from this kind of like self-centered view that causes us suffering. And there's a lovely sutta called the Malika Sutta, where maybe you've heard it, the king Pasenadi asks his queen, who's Queen Malika. They're from the king and queen of Kosala. And he asks the queen, Malika, is there anyone dearer to you than yourself? She answers, no. And she asks the king the same question. King, is there anyone dearer to you than yourself? And he also answers, no. I was really surprised when I first heard this sutra. I thought it was going to be a Buddhist story about, no, of course, you're the person I cherish the most as my husband or as my wife. I thought the Buddha was going to give a teaching on that in some way. And actually, the way, it's just a tiny little sutta, and it's like a sobering truth that I really kind of don't understand. I don't understand how deeply, deeply I cherish myself before all others. And in a way, this clasher, and it's an obstruction to seeing the truth. But in the spirit of Lojong, it's a point that we can flip. And Subhuti talks about this in one of his rambles. So we can flip this self-cherishing to not only take that into cherishing ourselves in a positive sense, but also expanding that out into cherishing others. And I know this won't be new to you, but I suppose I just realize how deep-seated that view is, and how sobering a truth it is, and how much I need the practices of metta, of tonglen, and of bodhicitta to really keep chipping away at that self-view, so that I truly can start to cherish others as I cherish myself. So it's the cherishing in some ways isn't so bad. It's just when I make it exclusive to me, you know. So it's like, how do I kind of really extend that self-cherishing to others and love those even more, perhaps, than I do myself. And just as we can flip self-cherishing, we can also flip craving and desire into a longing for the Dharma, into a longing for truth, into a longing for growth and expansion, a longing for change and flow. And of course, to do that, we need the courage, we need the warrior spirit, as well as curiosity. Curiosity is probably the first step, taking us out of our comfort zone, to be curious enough to know that there are other beings, and to then be curious to know maybe who they are, what they feel, you know, and we can start to really develop that interest in other. As Vidyamala said today, you know, kind of our energy goes with what interests us. So if we're constantly just interested by ourselves, in ourselves, you know, if we're always thinking of ourselves first, it's very hard then to develop an interest in others. So can we get really curious about others? Can we get really curious about the world around us? Can we get curious about those who irritate us, who don't do what we want to do or how we would do it? So the Padma family is taking us into this kind of this realm of love. Just a few members of the Padma family. We've got Amitabha as the head. We've got his attendant bodhisattvas in Avalokiteshvara and Manjushri. You see them often flanking Amitabha. Amitabha's in a kind of representation of the Trikaya, with Avalokiteshvara and with Padmasambhava. Yeah, I was just remembering that Avalokiteshvara and Green Tara, if you look very closely, both have Amitabha as the family head, just sitting in their top knots. So you can have a closer look if you've never noticed that Amitabha's there. And of course, Amitabha, Avalokiteshvara, his main deity is Amitabha, and Green Tara is born from Avalokiteshvara, the tears of Avalokiteshvara. So there's all these relationships: White Tara, Padmasambhava, Kurukula, Padmapani. I just saw a lovely phrase from Vishuddhamati on her art page, and she calls the Padma family the lineage of love and compassion. So this is the Padma family. And when I think about Avalokiteshvara's mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, the jewel in the lotus, you know, it's not just that the lotus unfolds, but there's something precious within it, something really precious for us to discover within that lotus. So this lineage of love and compassion, it's a love that takes us beyond our limited self into the freedom and the liberation that's possible, that the Buddha saw on his awakening, and he deeply, deeply wishes for all beings to also have that liberation. So that's just a short introduction to the Padma family, and hopefully just has evoked colour, the lotus, light, and in a moment what we're going to do is go into the realm of sound, and the Taraloka team will chant the Maitreya mantra tonight, which I was just thinking, what is the translation of the Maitreya mantra? And really, I just think it's big love. It's love and big love. Om Ah Hum. So it's the big love mantra. So love expanded, not love in a small sense, love expanded to be compassion, which is a big, big word, but a much, much kind of a bigger quality that we can grow into. So I'd like to just read, first of all, the poem that Vidyamala read today, The Unseen Flower, because that's another thing that I've been reflecting on that poem. I'm going to do an order weekend on the theme of the unseen flower and the poem coming up in March. So I'm going to read that poem again. Then go over to Taraloka and they'll chant the mantra, and we can really just let the sound of the mantra, the words of the mantra, our own voice chanting the mantra, just see what effect that has. I'll just leave a little space, a pause afterwards, just 5 minutes or so, and just let the mantra kind of penetrate in silence, and then I'll transfer merits and we can all do that together. And that will be the end of our evening. Okay? Great. So I'm just going to get the text here. Let's find the poem. Just settle yourself into a comfortable position. Just connecting however you feel comfortable into your posture, and just checking in right now. Are you kind of noticing expansion or contraction? And can you just soften and let go and be more fully present? Maybe just taking a few deeper breaths, connecting right down in the belly. The unseen flower. Compassion is far more than emotion. It is something that springs up in the emptiness, which is when you yourself are not there, so that you do not know anything about it. Nobody, in fact, knows anything about it. If they knew it, it would not be compassion. But they can only smell the scent of the unseen flower that blooms in the heart of the void.
Om Maitri, Maha Maitri Swaha. Om tree, my tree, swaha. Om my 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 tree, my tree, Om my tree, my tree, swaha. 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 Om my tree, tree, swaha. Oh, my tree, my tree, swaha.
So we just take 5 minutes to sit together with the mantra reverberating in our minds and hearts. Transference of merit and self-surrender. In unison. May the merit gained in my acting thus go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings. My personality throughout my existences, my possessions, and my merit in all three ways. I give up without regard to myself for the benefit of all beings. Just as the earth and other elements are serviceable in many ways to the infinite number of beings inhabiting limitless space, so may I become that which maintains all beings situated throughout space, so long as all have not attained to peace. So that concludes our day today. Thank you to everyone for turning up and sharing in practice today. Yeah, sleep well. Do whatever you need to take care of yourself and love yourself and love those around you. Okay. We can take each other in for a few minutes more. Thanks for that.